We had the China's currency manipulation war, international and national action. We had the no side. We have some background information first. Money doesn't have an inherent value. The U.S. domestically and all other money, we all have the same currencies. Like when we decrease with inflation, we all decrease. And then also, in a rare occasion, when the deflation goes, we all increase, but that's on a rare occasion. It doesn't really happen. Also, currencies are based off supply and demand, so you can't really say that one country is better than another. It's just based off their supply and demand. Just like China, they supply a lot, so people demand a lot from them. And then another point we had was in 2000, the RMB, which is the China's yen, was 8.28 RMBs to the US's dollar, and it has been deflating over the years. And people have said that it's too high, that's why China's been exporting a lot, but in reality it's decreasing, so we're kind of getting what we want anyways.
Also, the comparative values of the two currencies really impact the trade and investment between the two countries. So if the US dollar decreases to the renminbi, then it would be cheaper for China to buy US goods and services, and it would be more expensive for the US to import things from China.
And then with the value term market and government intervention, which is flow, after the Cold War, US started trading with China more because it was a big economic boom for us. And China also decided to start making stuff cheaper with the RMB, and then that decided to put us in the trade market with them, to open trade, because we wanted stuff for cheaper. And that makes us buy stuff for cheaper. For the yes side arguments, decided to bring that up first. The RMB is undervalued, they can say that. And then Beijing's holding of American debt, and then pegging by China to stay #1 export to U.S. And our arguments are this graph right here.
So one of the arguments is that Beijing is holding the U.S. debt, and they kind of have control over us, I guess. But in reality, they really don't have a lot of our debt. This graph shows the distribution of the U.S. debt, and China only really has 8%.
And then also, people are saying the RMB was increasing and is too high. Well, as you can see, from 2005 to 2011, it's been decreasing over the years. So actually, we're getting what we want, just people don't realize it. I mean, it's still at a high amount, but we're slowly getting them to decrease the RMB.
So those were some of the opposing arguments, and now these are some of like the beliefs or the myths about China's currency manipulation. And we'll kind of talk about why it's not necessary to take action. So the first one is that China's growth is dependent primarily on exports. And like people believe that China's pegging their currency to increase their exports, but really their domestic demand and their imports are their primary source of growth. And with this graph, you can see how you see like the fluctuation of exports and imports in recent years, and how the imports have kind of passed the exports.
For the second point, China's not contributing enough to global demand during the crisis. Asia was emerging out of crisis because of China. China was worth 50% of the world's growth in economics at this point. I mean, having 50% of the world's economics, that's pretty good. And people were saying that China wasn't helping at all. Clearly they were.
So another one is China's consumption is not growing fast enough, and they think that they're exporting more than they're importing. Prior to the global financial crisis in the early 2000s, their private consumption grew by 7.5%, which is 3.9% more than the U.S. during that period. And then following the crisis, their consumption continued to rise.
And then with the last point, well, with one of the last points, China has been manipulating its currency to gain advantage. Yes, but also 60 other countries are doing this too, and we just don't realize that as a society. China pegged the RMB just to help out the Asian crisis, to emerge out of it. But people don't understand that we were the ones who accepted it, so we kind of put ourselves in this deep hole. And also with President Clinton, and then the fiscal surpluses and the monetary policies that we all agreed to, with the government agreed to. China was just really aggressive at this time with manufacturing for cheap labor, and then they knew that they could basically help us out, and we could help them out by getting them out of their crisis, by them helping us import cheap goods. So we kind of put ourselves in this situation.
Revaluation of the renminbi will help the U.S. economy. It would actually hurt our economy because it would be adding billions of dollars to our import bill. Because we import three times as much from China as they import from us. And obviously, this ratio doesn't really settle the loss that we have.
And then reevaluation of the RMB is critical for reducing global trade imbalances. Honestly, this will do little to nothing to us. If we were to do this, then it really doesn't affect the economy. U.S. would just import from other countries if this was to be done, and then we just sign treaties with other people that wouldn't accept China's way of following China's lead and allowing currency to appreciate. So. And then, for our conclusion, China's not using currency for advantage. As you see in our slides, they're really not doing that. Like I said, we were the ones who accepted this currency. If we were going to argue it later on, why would we accept it in the first place? It just doesn't make sense, I guess.
And also, the U.S. and China are mutually dependent. And U.S. action and pressure could cause animosity and tension between us, and that could really hurt our economy, their economy, and probably the global economy.